Welcome to the Own It Powercast, the place to be when you get serious about making big changes and accelerating growth in your life and in your relationships. Finally create the life you've always wanted, living life on your own terms. Learn how to take your fear and turn it into powerful choices that will create sustained change. Now your host, Mary Baker.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Own It Powercast, the place to come to get what you need to move yourself forward. Hey, it's Mary Baker, and welcome to episode 202, The Faces of Anxiety, Conquering Your Inner Turmoil. Well, welcome to a new month, which is going to be focused on one of the biggest things that I work with clients around, and perhaps the biggest core issue of their life, whether they know it or not, and that is fear and anxiety. They come in several different forms, and we can struggle with one or all types. Now, while fear and anxiety are related emotions, they do have some key differences. Now, fear itself is a response to a specific present threat or danger. Okay, like if you encounter a wild animal or someone tries to grab you on the street, your fear response may kick in and cause your body to prepare for fight or flight. Anxiety, on the other hand, is a more general feeling of unease, often about future events or uncertainties, things you're mulling about. It's a state of worry or apprehension that can persist even in the absence of the immediate threat. So there's the difference. Anxiety can be triggered by a variety of factors, including past experiences where you had some real fear. There could be current stressors, or maybe the nature of your personality. A lot of people are either prone towards anxiety or towards depression. So while fear is a reaction to an immediate threat, anxiety is more of a general sense of unease about potential future threats or uncertainties, so things that could go wrong. So this month, we're going to look at two different types of anxiety, since I think they are the most common, and then look at how we can also allow fear to sabotage our life. Now, the first type and the most common is general anxiety, or generalized anxiety is the clinical term. So if you were diagnosed with this, it would be generalized anxiety disorder, or GAD for short. Now, this is a condition characterized by persistent and excessive worry and anxiety about a variety of everyday events and activities, so it could be anything. While the exact causes of GAD are not fully understood, there is evidence to suggest that early trauma can be a contributing factor, and I think that we are learning so much more about that and accepting the reality that most people at least have some early emotional trauma. Because when a child experiences trauma such as abuse or neglect, it can have long-lasting effects on their psychological and emotional development. The child may develop a heightened sense of vigilance and anxiety to protect themselves because their brain perceives potential threats in their environment. Now, this chronic state of anxiety can become a generalized pattern that persists into adulthood, leading to the development of GAD. In addition to early trauma, there might be other factors like genetic setup, environmental stressors, and other life experiences. So GAD can significantly impact your life in a number of ways. And we're going to get into this more deeply this month. But basically, difficulty concentrating, it interferes with their social relationships. They have a lot of physical symptoms. They can have muscle tension, headaches, fatigue, GI problems. So these are uncomfortable and distracting, and it's really hard for people to be present and be on top of their game. I have sat with so many clients over the years who also have autoimmune issues and inflammation. And we're looking at now that those people are often the recipients of some toxic behavior in their relationships. So their body is showing the stress. They have sleep issues. They can develop other mental health conditions like depression, substance abuse to cope. So basically, it can have a real big impact on your life and your health. So the other anxiety that's very common that people talk a lot about is social anxiety. Now, it's important to note that only a mental health professional can diagnose you with either GAD or social anxiety. But here are some common signs and symptoms of social anxiety. Again, just like GAD, excessive worry and fear about everyday events and activities that you have going on. I think there's a lot of self-doubt. There's fear of what could happen, what people would say. There's obsessive thoughts after the fact where you run that conversation through your head a million times, wishing you had said something different, worried about what people might think of you in that conversation. There's a lot of physical stuff. There's headaches, there's stomach aches, there's fatigue. It's wearing down your immune system. This is very stressful for you and your body. There's irritability and stress and agitation when you have to be somewhere. Now, the ultimate here is panic attacks, whether with GAD or social anxiety. And they're awful. They can include rapid heartbeat, sweating, trembling, feel like you can't breathe, a sense of impending doom or danger, so it can get that bad. Now, of course, I'm going to recommend counseling around all of this if it's extreme for you. But I also think that even if you are doing counseling, the work we do on the show and in the course I'm building will help you make some real progress. I think that's because we look at some of the core reasons for anxiety and how to heal on the inside while you're changing on the outside, because we have to do both. Now, we're going to get into more of the origins of anxiety in our next episode. And then finally this month, we're going to talk about sabotage. Now, I don't mean consciously sabotage efforts in your life. It is the sneaky, insidious, subconscious ways that you may get in your own way. You can get in your own way of what you want in relationships, in your professional life. Do you even have downtime for yourself? There are lots of fun codependent ways that you can make sure, quote unquote, that you don't get what you need, what you deserve, what you desire, and what is best for you in your life. And we're going to talk about this month why we do that and what the costs are. So when you think of the word sabotage, you think of impair, incapacitate, ruin. You know, people who struggle to come out of the box are often stubborn. They're easily irritated. There's a lot of shame-based anger itself that they don't want to talk to you about. So they get really pissed off when you call them out on wanting to stay in their comfort zone. So we can sabotage ourselves in a million different ways. We can get so creative. We can back off on our self-care. We can not set boundaries around our time and energy so we have time to take care of ourselves. We don't take risks, right? We've been talking about that a lot on the show. We're not going to take a risk that's scary, that will take us out of our comfort zone and challenge us because we could fail. So that pulls in all that play it perfect, all that perfectionism, and all the people pleasing. All of that creates that sense of paralysis that I have talked to so many people about over the years. They feel so stuck, but they don't even know where to begin. And the big thing about sabotage is that we lie to ourselves. We pretend it was no big deal to miss that opportunity, or to not call that friend back, or to not take time to take care of ourselves, or to not take that career risk. Being healthy means being intentional about what we want to have for our life and what we're going to take responsibility around doing that. What boundaries do we need to set? What fears do we need to face? What shame-based work might we need to do if we think that we're not good enough or we don't deserve, or it won't be okay, we won't take care of ourselves? We do all the cognitive work around our thinking and our belief systems, what we believe about ourselves. We look at our relationships and the people around us. Are they supportive? Are they healthy? Or do they self-sabotage? So they certainly are not going to call us out when we drop the ball, when we let opportunities go, when we don't pursue our dreams. We need people around us that love us enough to say, what are you doing to take care of yourself this week? So fear and anxiety and social anxiety and self-esteem and sabotaging all work together, and that's why we're going to talk about them this month. So let's look at how this plays out in real life. And let's talk about Samantha. So Samantha is a 28-year-old woman who works as a marketing executive at a large company. She has really struggled with social anxiety for as long as she can remember. Hers is most intense in social situations, she says, especially those involving large groups of people or situations where she feels like she's going to be evaluated or judged. Now at work, Sam avoids team meetings and social events whenever she can because she feels like her colleagues are constantly watching and judging her and worries that she'll embarrass herself in front of them. When she does have to attend something, she spends the entire time feeling on edge and uncomfortable and stressed out, and often has to excuse herself to the restroom just to breathe and get some fresh air and to regroup. Like I was talking earlier about how exhausting this stuff is. I mean, her anxiety also affects her personal life. She has a few close friends, but she finds it difficult to meet new people or form new relationships. And that's why she avoids going to parties and social events, and oftentimes will turn down invites from friends or family members because she feels too anxious. And, of course, her anxiety has impacted her physical health. She has a lot of experiences like sweating, heart palps, nausea, and now has developed insomnia as a result of worrying about upcoming social events. All right, so what's going on with Sam? What I think is going on is a lot of self-esteem. It's who you're bringing to the table and who you are bringing into the room, so to speak, where people don't already know you, and the key is don't already accept you as is. So we're afraid that we're walking in that room and we're going to be judged, and that's what Sam talked a lot about. They're going to realize, she said, what is imperfect about me. How I've dropped the ball here, I haven't been good about that. What if they think I'm boring? I don't have great things to say. And we're going to get into this month about where this comes from. And that's why I call it self-esteem. Because what I hear from people is a history of being teased, often being bullied, even your big sister making fun of you at the dinner table. Social situations. So in Sam's case, her big sister used to shame the crap out of her, especially when her big sister's friends were around or extended family were around. She would mock her and make fun of her, oftentimes under her breath so no one could hear it. As talented and as strong of a worker as Sam is, she still doubted her abilities because her sister had imprinted upon her, who do you think you are? No one wants to listen to what you have to say. That's ridiculous. Even though Sam knows intellectually that all of that is crap and it's not true, psychologically and emotionally, there's still some wounds around that she has to do some deep work to heal. And we're going to talk this month about how she's got to do some things to prove it wrong. Now, she's been working really hard on her anxiety, looking at identifying and challenging her negative thoughts about herself, namely the ones that came from her sister, and look at some coping strategies and ways to change. They're doing a lot of exposure work, which means gradually increasing Sam's exposure to social situations, especially the ones that she finds really challenging, because we want to build up her confidence and reduce her anxiety over time. I've watched people make significant progress. I've watched them go to parties, attend team meetings, go to social events, and actually look forward to them. Only after making peace with themselves on the inside and then getting some healthier people around them so they can get some really good mirroring, right, of who they are and how smart and funny and loving and kind others think they are. This is why I do this work. It helps people like Sam and you to look at what is causing your anxiety, how it's hurting your life, and how to heal it and make big changes to take you where you want to go. Because you don't have to miss out on meaningful connections. You don't have to miss out on great experiences or keep yourself from using your gifts and living your purpose. People want to, let me correct myself, healthy people want to connect with the authentic you, the real you. And that's what you want to work on presenting to others. So today we talked about how this month we're going to explore anxiety, especially generalized and social anxiety, and how they can impact your life. We're going to look at where it comes from, how it shows up in our life, and ways we can sabotage and I think thus keep ourselves stuck and missing out on some of the best things in life. We then talked about how someone can begin working on their anxiety and make some lasting changes. Healing old wounds about our lives and ourselves, I think, can help us create a way of being that is more authentic, courageous, and in the moment. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope you join me for the rest of the month and work on this stuff. If you don't already get the newsletter, make sure you sign up at ownitpowercast.com or follow me on social. All right, so pay it forward, keep focusing on you, and I'll see you next time.
We hope you took away some useful insights and tools you can begin using right away. If you did, please leave a positive review and share on your social media. Because could you imagine if everyone in your life really got it together? Remember, own it now, so you can really own it later.